there's the main carcass. Both the shelves are cut down. Both sides are reattached. Hmm. "41 inches. That's close enough for the girls I go with. I'm going to put a little glue behind here and tape it in place and let it set up and dry. Then I can cut the back to a finished length and nail it in place. Okay, so now while that sets and dries, I'm going to turn my attention to the new shelf that I will be adding in down here at the bottom. Excuse me. It's alive.
I don't know, man. You better get something to kill it.
Well, let's get rid of Lee Michaels. Or at least turn it down where the sensors can't pick him up. Okay, my next step is going to be to make my additional shelf out of these 2x4s that I had scavenged out of my junk pile against the back wall. I'm going to take and glue these together. So I'll have 3 2x4s. And I should end up with about, what would that be? 10.5 inches. And to do that, I'm going to take and cut a dado into each one of them, like this. And I'll cut this material out. To do that, I will use a dado head on my table saw. Now, before I cut that dado, I'm going to create some spline material. I need 2 pieces of spline, and I just so happen to have a scrap piece of cedar laying around my garage. I have a lot of cedar around my garage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece and I'll run it through my table saw so it is 1/4 inch thick. This piece is 7/8 of an inch wide in both directions. So I will take this piece, I'll run it through the saw, and I will create 2 pieces of spline that I'll use in my glue up. I have it. 1/4 inch thick by 7/8 of an inch wide spline material. Because this was scrap, it didn't cost me anything other than to turn my saw on and rip these two pieces. My next step will be to change over the head on this saw and install my dado set. A dado 1/4 of an inch wide, and since my spline is 7/8 of an inch in width, I will go 1/2 inch deep, and that will allow for a little bit of play between the spline and the boards, and it will also allow room for glue. So let me change out the blade, and I'll get to running my dado. Safe. Unplug. Now, the two outside core cutters on my dado set, when combined together, create a dado exactly 1/4 of an inch wide. I have applied a piece of painter's tape as a shim. I want my dado to be slightly larger, mostly to allow for glue. Okay, my next step is to set up the distance from the fence to the edge of the cutter, which will be used to offset, create this offset for my dado. So it doesn't have to be perfectly centered. I prefer to get it close to the center of the board. So this is 1.5 inches wide. So the center line of that blade, between the two blades, if it was at 3/4 of an inch, that would be close enough for me. Now, I need to set this so that it is making a cut of 1/2 inch deep, or maybe just a fuzz under. Again, it does not have to be accurate. It just has to be deep enough to accept the spline when both boards come together. Now, a lot of people are going to say, why don't you use a setup block to set your height on your blade? Well, I'm old-fashioned. I measure. Plus, those setup blocks can be pricey. Okay, I measured. I'll do a trial cut. 3/16 plus. I'm going to go a little bit deeper. That's almost exactly 1/2 inch. That's good enough. Okay. Now that that's done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spline material and I'm going to cut it a little bit short of the overall length of my shelves. Again, this does not have to be rocket science. I'm not going to the moon. When my saw quits spinning, I'll change the blade. Now I guess while I'm doing this, let me talk a little bit about safety. I have been using table saws since junior high school. So I was about 14 when I first used the table saw in school. I believe that predates OSHA. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there that say I should have a blade guard, that I should wear eye protection, and I should use push sticks for almost everything. Well, okay. When I get real close to that blade, you will see me use a push stick. I don't know if it's OSHA approved or not, but this is what I use. And I can get real close to that blade. So, for those who want to pound the keyboard and say I should be doing things differently, you're right. I probably should. For the younger generation that has never worked with power equipment, they should, obviously, read and follow all directions of your tool. Follow as many safety notifications that are posted. Read them all. Make sure you understand them. Make sure you understand what this machine can do. That blade is, off the top of my head, probably turning, I don't know, 10,000 RPM at its tip. It won't take much to lose your thumb. I will tell you, the only time I have ever been hurt buy a saw, specifically a table saw, was when OSHA was coming through our shop one day, and we had to have the blade guard on. I was running about 100 drawer fronts, repetitive, boring, monotonous work. The last drawer front, when it went through the saw, the fall off pinch underneath the blade guard, the board bound between the blade and my fence, and being stupid, I might have been 20 years old at this time, I pushed my finger against the back side of the board. Up and over the blade I went, underneath the guard, up and over the blade. It took a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch notch out of my thumb and thumbnail. I was very lucky. But I've never made that mistake again. I'm 71 years old. I think I know what I'm doing, and I'm pretty cautious. But for you beginners, be weary of what you're dealing with. This will bite you very quickly, and you can lose digits. I have all 10. They're all intact and they all function. Okay. Alright, now I can find my cardboard. I can glue these boards up. There it is. Well, I think this is as good a place as any to stop this video. We've got glue drying now on the new shelf. I've got the back kind of repaired. When I come back tomorrow, I'll get that cut to final size, and maybe I can get the new shelf stained, and then we can get both of those installed onto this carcass, and this project will be all done. So I want to thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate you all taking the time out of your busy schedule to watch this old fart do his stuff. But if you like what you see, just give it a big thumbs up. Think about subscribing, and think about sharing this video with anybody that you think might be interested in what I'm doing here. So until tomorrow, or the next video, whenever that may be, you all have a great day. Thank you.